Ladies, gents, 19th of December 2019, Piotr here. This is Light Forex Global YouTube channel, and yeah, Bank of England Day, no doubt about it. So in that case, we are going to discuss cable, right? Let's make a cable update. I'm not gonna try to bias you. I will try to rather show the levels I'm thinking about, both from bulls and bears perspective. All right, so basically taking into the consideration levels where we are right now, so it's good to remind ourselves, right, the supply based on the price action from the 3rd of May. We discussed this quite few times, right? So in that case, I'm going to take that supply as well as the place from where we started, right? So let me show you the day before, right? The opposite direction. Then we turned higher, and we took out some supply, right? So in that case, in my opinion, both the 3rd of the May as well. 1 second, that was probably 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. There was no weekend, yeah, and the 2nd. So what we are talking about right here, right now, is the combination of both, right? And as you can see here on the, what was the day? Yeah, 12th December, right? There was a retest to the downside. All right. Oops. There was a retest to the downside, as you can see, and we made new high. So what I do expect right here, right now, is some kind of the possible stop count around here. So the 12th of December low, that's where I see some kind of the possible liquidity, and the combination 2nd and 3rd of May here, right? So rather lower, rather 50% of that zone, right? Or bottom of that zone, right? As possible demand. So in that case, let's have a look what we have here. 50%, that would be around 30.20. all right, bottom 29.85. so we are talking about, let's say, 30 pips. Let's talk about the 30.15, right, and then 29.85. It's also very important from the psychological perspective, right? Because right here, right now, we are trading above 130, right? So that's the positive development. That's the positive development from that perspective. Okay. So I do expect some kind of the bullish price action down there, in case, of course, we are going to reach that levels, right? So let's switch lower. Let's switch to 4-hour chart. You know that I'm not using very often, but this time it looks like we might have some kind of the confirmation based on what we've seen on the 4th, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd, 4th of December, right? Right here, right now, as you can see on the 4-hour chart, right? So it's a 50% and bottom of that consolidation. So we have some kind of the confirmation. So the way of thinking about the low here as a liquidity pool, well, sounds reasonable. Okay, so in that case, I'm not gonna be surprised from the bullish perspective, right, that we are going to just hit some stops and see eventually rally. Well, that's not my preferred scenario. So what I would like to see, it might be this type of the price action, eventually rally of that zone. Well, that's when you think bullish way on the cable, right? So that's what you are looking for, that the psychological 130 level is about to hold. All right, so let's have a look even lower. Let's switch to the 1 hour chart finally. Okay, so here it's even better visible, right? So here 30-50 as a liquidity pool, so next 20-25 pips down towards our levels, still possible, right? Of course, the scary thing is what happened this week, right? That's for sure the scary thing. But one, of course, can argue that we want to retest some demand zone and we might see rally of that. So that's the bullish case, all right? And that's, I think, if you have second part of the US session trading below 130 and you see that towards the end of the day there is no chance to see bigger bounce, I think that would be the exit signal for longs, and eventually we might see deeper levels. So let's have a look at cable from the bear's perspective, right? Again, I mentioned at the very beginning, I'm not gonna try to bias anyone, but that's what might happen. I see things more to the downside, but the way I see that is retest of some weekly open, right? As you can see, blue dotted line is also might be some kind of the over under. If you remember our last euro dollar update, same story. So it's very, very possible, especially if we are going to make, but maybe not today. We are going to discuss another day. So that would be the great thing to see. You know, this type of the rally towards 33.60. That's from here 2.5 figure, right? One can argue, well, it might not going to happen. Well, it might not, but I can imagine myself this scenario as a attempt to rescue cable. So let's try to visualize weekly candle in that case. So that would be lower shadow, let's say, right? That would be upper shadow, let's say, all right? Some kind of the high wave candle like this, all right? That could be weekly candle. So retest of the, doesn't matter of the body, to be honest with you. Probably more to the downside, like this, let's say, all right? So then more weakness could come as early as next week. So that's the first thing first, but in that case, bears have to be very patient, very, very careful, right? But I do have something we might see even today. So let me show you the second bearish scenario, right? So in that case, we are talking about, we have to get back to this 3rd of May, right? So we have to get back to this 3rd of May high. Okay. In that case, we are going to make that one. Let's make it green on a daily chart, all right? Okay, so in that case, right, what I would like to show you is, please have a look the whole move to the downside from this 3rd of May, right? Now, please have a look from where we break through that. From here, and we saw new high, right? So, in that case, I like the level here, corresponds with this one, and smaller over under, all right, based on this. So here, and the previous demand, because from here we went higher, might work this time on a retest from the lower levels. Supply, whoa, what could be the target? I think half of that bear flag breakout 28.50, that could be the target in that case. All right, so looking to selling somewhere closer to 31.80, maybe 32, with very tight stop. So guys, one bullish case if 130 hold, two bearish scenarios, one from around 31.80 to 32, one from around weekly open. Don't be trapped, guys. Don't forget that liquidity is drying up right now, less and less liquidity on the market, so it's a possibility that we are going to see much higher volatility. Be careful out there, fingers crossed, and see you around, guys. Goodbye.